Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin, and today I have an open box video for you. And about half these coins are from a customer, and you'll know which ones they are because his grades all came back really nice. Good for him. And the rest of them, maybe not as much. But before I blow, I'm supposed to bury the lead, not give the ending away, right? So this 1904 Indian penny, really quite a nice looking specimen. Overall, you had great luster to it and nice color. And so, of course, we all know how we've been doing lately. Anyone who's been following the channel and seen grading results from your dealers and your maybe yourself know how it's been going for these pennies and what we've been looking at over and over again. MS64 red brown. Well, this is a big win because anytime you can go ahead and get the coin to have a nice red-brown finish to it, and it's actually, I think, mostly red. But anytime you can do that and not get the artificial color, then I think it's a big win. A big win. So, good way to start off, and that particular coin in that grade is something that's about a $100 type coin. And then next up, we're going to take a look at this 1894 Barber Quarter. And now I'm going to keep it real here, as they say. This coin, I thought it was too bright. The surface quality was too bright, and then it was nice and dark. So you can see there's a lot of a decent amount of wear to it. The shield has a touch of flatness to it, but also has a ton of detail. So there's a little S. I always like how the mint marks on these are almost in random places. So that mint mark's way over there above the D in dollar. And then the coin itself is, has a very bright surface to it. So I thought they were going to call it cleaned, but they called it an XF40. Sometimes, when I talk to dealers, they'll say, that they net grade a coin. In other words, they'll take the coin and go ahead and maybe this would have been a 45, but it had bright surfaces, so they called it a 40. It's got a lot of detail to it, but it just doesn't have luster. I'd like to see a little bit more luster to the coin. But XF40, I think it's a good grade because, like I said, I thought it could have come back. I thought that it could have come back with a net grade on it. So that coin's about a $125 coin. So this one's exceptionally pretty, and this is where I think I absolutely jinxed him, because this is a coin that I thought was pretty phenomenal. I mean, I thought that this coin should come back something like a mint state 64. It has really nice luster to it, and I like the surfaces. One of my favorite things about the Standing Liberty Quarter series is that this first year of issue, this 1917, the Type 1, especially the Type 1, a nice full head on there. The fields themselves have almost a ripple effect to them, especially on the reverse of the coin. And so you can almost just see that rippled field effect as you turn the coin. So the big disappointment here is that they call it unk details cleaned. So usually when a coin is cleaned, you want to find out why or how. What are they looking at to say that the coin's been cleaned? And this one's kind of tricky because there aren't any hairlines. I didn't find any hidden wheel marks. It doesn't have that typical, what I like to call black and blue look, where the coin really goes dead in when the light's at like a 45-degree angle. So that one is not such a happy ending on that particular coin. But next up we have, back to the Barber Quarters, a 1914 Barber Quarter here. Now, as you evaluate it, you're going to see this coin has a ton of luster. You can tell it's, much nicer than the one that we looked at previously. just a little earlier. And you know, when you see a coin that looks this nice, your next thing to determine is just, is it AU, is it UNC? You know, those fields are really nice. And speaking of marks, okay, cleaning marks, right? I want you to look at something right here. Between the left wing and like the left knee and the branch, there's a little area there that when you get the angle right there, see those little white lines? You know, that's the type of thing that technically you can call, you know, there's little lines there, there's not raised lines. You could probably call that some type of a cleaning if you really wanted to. Now here's the thing on this coin, it actually has a touch of wear to it. So the thing to look at is when you start to see all those little white lines pop up across the surface, and on this you can tell because the holder's brand new. On an old holder you see scratches and it'll mess you up. But all those little white lines, or white lines, whatever they're called, all that little bit of break in the luster across the face of the barber there, that is an AU55. That means the coin is not going to be uncirculated, although it has a great look to it. It's a real nice coin. In that condition, it's still about $150, in really quite a nice piece. He had sent quite a few barbers here. We got another barber to look at. This one, a nice big barber half. Such a lovely coin. Barbers are funny. I should have mentioned that you know, that XF40 is such a rare coin because barbers come basically in like 3 grades: AG, good, and UNC, right? Or well, in AU. I mean, but it's hard to find a VF barber. They just circulated. They went through the Great Depression. So what's interesting about this coin is that it is super lustrous, and one of the things that I'm pointing out is not just the surface quality, but also the fact that there's no breaks in the luster. There's the nice O mint, but you look at how flat the coin looks above the head and the wings, and it looks like wear, but as you turn it, you can see that it actually has luster flowing still. So that's not necessarily wear. This one's from the New Orleans mint. There's that nice O mint mark there, and looks really good. So this one's a lot more tricky because this one came back in AU58. I think it's still about $375 in that condition. Nice coin. So this is, sometimes you'll hear the coin dealers use the term slider or super slider. That just means it's a coin that has the appearance of an uncirculated coin, but it's not uncirculated. The thing you're going to see on there also is that those white lines that kind of creep across her face, and that's just the beginning signs of a little bit of wear. Some wear and some tear. Okay, maybe not too much tear. I don't know why you're not focusing on those coins down there, buddy. All right, next up, we have a 1947 half dollar, and this is probably the first coin that I'd really have a complaint with as I look at the coin. And you know, I'm looking at a coin that if I was just judging this coin as I looked at it, I would really judge it to be a pretty high mint state. The overall look of the coin's great. It does not have really distracting marks to it. Overall, you know, I mean, this is the place on the walkers you always get the first contact marks. And there's a few contact marks there, but then again, keep in mind that when I do this, I'm using a 10 power loop, and technically you should really grade with a 5 power loop. I do that because, you know, just for the video quality, you got a little bit of some marks there on the sunlight, on the sun itself. And then, you know, the marks are generally hidden pretty good on these coins because of all the detail and design that goes into the body, the dress, the hands. But I would have had no problem just buying or selling that coin as a gem coin. By gem, I mean mint state 65 or better. So they call this a mint state 64. You know, in this grade, it's not an expensive coin. It probably cats for about 50 bucks or something. But I'm pretty sure he was looking forward to having that coin come back a higher grade, something like maybe a 66 even. You know, something a little bit nicer. All right, I've got a couple more coins coming down the pipe here that are pretty cool. So the seeded dollar series, this is such a fun series uh, to collect because you can kind of find some of the coins in lower grade, middle grade, VF, there we go. Fine VF to XF. They all kind of have a similar price point on a lot of the coins. Of course, there are some coins that are more rare that are tougher to come by. But in general, there's a lot of different dates out there that are not super expensive. So in this coin, you can see a nice even dark tone to it. There's not any luster. Usually once you get out of the luster zone, you're going to be looking at a coin that's going to be below XF, at least below VF35. I mean, I tend to think if it's got luster, it should be an XF, but there's some debate about that. So this coin they called a VF25, which is a nice looking coin, a nice grade. I think it's about a 375 on this coin for the value to it. Just nice even wear, great for a typeset. You can still see some of the Liberty on the shield. You can see a lot of the drapery left. The stars are still half full. Just overall, a really, really nice example of a great type coin. All right, next up, 1925 peace dollar, and I will say that on this coin here, we've talked a little bit about peace dollars. They're like Washington quarters. Whatever grade you think the coin is, just knock it a grade, and that's how they're going to grade it. So this has some really cool little bit of iridescent toning at the base of the coin on the obverse, and the reverse has some more of that iridescent toning to it. It has a lot of these really fine little contact marks, but they're not like large marks, and they're not distracting. So it's really an attractive coin for Mint State 64. I'm sure that he was hoping to get a 65. 64 is a $100, $50 type coin, and a 65 is over $100. So it's a big spread on those coins right now from one grade to the next. So it's funny. I just tapped on the coin as though that was going to focus my camera. Brilliant. I don't know how technology works. All right, so now I can be even more disappointed because here we go with a 1922 that I thought was really high quality. And you can tell right away, if you don't know, so you can actually tell the mint on these coins based on the way the rim is made and also the hairline detail. Usually even on circulated coins, if I see them from the obverse, if you gave me a bunch of 22 piece dollars, I can tell you just kind of looking at it because the way this is kind of flat in here and it has kind of this like high rim, that this is going to be a San Francisco or Denver, but usually a San Francisco mint coin. And this coin's pretty cool. It's very subdued. I like to say original. There's the S mint mark. And overall, I thought it was a nice coin. I was actually trying to get a 64 out of it. This coin came back a 63. I'm not going to complain too much. I know it doesn't have the fiery eye appeal that a lot of guys want to see, but I thought it was a technical grade. I think they just got dinged for eye appeal, but really like the coin. I really like how original it is, and because it's so original, it really got me all wackadoo on these next two coins, because you send in a coin that's really original looking, and then the next thing you know, they're going to take your 34D, which has probably been wiped, and just call it Unk Details Cleaned. And actually I have a 34 that goes with it. If you notice the funky toning on these, you may notice that I had a couple of piece dollars. I'm just going to show you that one also, Unk Details Cleaned, that had this funky toning. There was a collection. They all came in together. They all had the same type of funky toning to them. They had, I don't know that these coins have actually been cleaned. They were kept in a plastic container, like a soft plastic. And so as you look up here, you're going to see, the way that toning gets all funky up in that area there. I'll show it from a distance now. but all that toning. You see how in front of her nose, between the 9 o'clock on the coin and her nose, it has all that like rippled effect. Kind of like imagine if it has a piece of plastic laying against it for 4 decades, and it's leaving that mark. I actually think that that is also the reason why the coins look cleaned. Some of the coins that we sent in on previous patches or batches had, I guess we'd use the term submissions, they had the similar look and actually did not come back cleaned. But this is one of those things that I do point out, and I will show that I mentioned earlier when the coin goes kind of dead at an angle, like so. Let me grab this coin here. So when you're forward here and then you turn here, right, you see the difference? You see the coin on the right and how it goes, dark, and the coin on the left stays light. That kind of dead look. So usually that's an indication of wiping, and so you can see it once you get the two coins next to each other. And sometimes it's good to have a reference coin nearby when you're grading, because what'll happen is you can take a coin like this and just look at it by itself and not always notice kind of the black and white effect. It goes from white to black, dark and light, whatever you want to say. But if you have one that is good and you put them next to each other, then all of a sudden you're like, well, look at the difference between how they reflect the light. So these guys here, we're going to pretend they don't exist for about 5 minutes. All right, next up, 1932. All right, so this guy here, 32. These are sneaky tough, these early 1930s Lincolns. Finding a real nice quality coin, finding a nice color for the coin. You want to get something that's red if you're a Lincoln collector. Trying to find that is very, very difficult. Let me see here. Is this what I don't see many Lincoln cents that have rotated dies. This coin looks like it's straight up here, and here it's just got that counterclockwise clockwise rotation by about 5 degrees. MS65 red brown, nice coin. I was really hoping for the red. I mean, the coin's probably worth double when they call it a full red. The obverse has a really nice red look. The reverse is starting to brown, so it's a fair grade all around. Really attractive coin. I think that coin's about a $50 coin in that grade, as I recall. Next up, so I want you to look at these two coins and tell me which one you think is a better grade. I'm not going to say anything else, okay? You saw the surface here. Tell me if you see contact marks. And look at this guy. Tell me if you see contact marks. And we're going to look at the back of the coin. Of course, it has two sides. I know it has two sides. Same thing though, we'll look at the reverse of the two coins. We looked up close on that one. Let's look a little bit closer at this guy. And tell me which coin you prefer grade-wise. Now, in a court of law, they would say objection leading. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to just leave it blurry so you can't see what it did. 64 red brown versus your 65 red brown. So tell me which coin you want in your collection, guys. All right, I would tell you that focus, people, focus. I would tell you that I probably agree with whatever you just said. That coin is in that grade probably a $50 coin, but looking for more like a $100 coin. And if you get a 65 red instead of a 64 red brown. All right, so here we go, 1910. This coin was interesting because it's got some funky rim action going on, and I thought, well, they might call this damaged or cleaned or something, but it's kind of all the way around, so I wasn't really 100% sure what was going on with it. But I'm about to show you something that I'm actually happy to see. Unk details altered color. And the reason I'm happy to see it is because they actually said altered color and not questionable color. They went ahead and said, no, we know what we're looking at here, and we're going to tell you what we see. So you can see the color is actually really similar to that, to the 1909. And I think one of the things that we're going to look at here when you see these kind of like dots on his head and behind his head, I think what they're seeing are traces of what they believe to be some type of liquid enhancement. Same thing with the dots and on the N and by the T. There's kind of like bright white spots. I think those are indicators that the coin has been colored. I am also kind of curious to look at the rim. You know, the third side of the coin. I don't know if we can really see it on these, even though the holders are designed to see it, but I don't know if I can get a good clean look at it. You know, can you see some color on the rim or not of these two coins? You know, kind of hard to tell. You see all that iridescence on there, kind of like an oil slick. I think that's a little bit of what they're looking at on that coin. But if this coin is definitely artificially colored, which is what they're saying, that is one heck of a job. All right, guys, last but not least, speaking of great type coins, this coin is going to kind of blow your mind. You'll understand why in a second, because I just want to give you a cursory look. I'm going to show it to you like this. Okay, kind of gorgeous looking coin. And I'm going to show you, you know, this side here. And, you know, it's got a touch of reflectivity to the fields, and it's really pretty cool looking. And once again, you know, this coin's going to be a nice AU coin. And I want to show you something that you probably missed, even at a quick cursory look. Look at the fields here. They actually have full-on writing in them. And I knew the writing was there, but I sent it anyways because it's such a high-grade coin. I just thought it'd be easier to sell. You know, and in that way it says right on it, graffiti, obverse graffiti. So the front side has the graffiti. It's on both sides of her. And the crazy thing is, if like you pick this coin up and just looked at it real quick, you'd be like, man, that's unbelievable. But then when you get closer, all of a sudden you can see someone was full on writing their name on here, probably 150 years ago. You know, so if you can find those people, and if there's somebody in your family, maybe you can go ahead and get the family lineage. You know, this coin, AUs are $1,000 to $1,500 type coins. You know, and XFs are like 800 plus. So it's probably still a pretty pricey coin. I'm guessing it's probably $700 or $800 still, just like this. But anyway, so make sure you look at your coins really closely when you're purchasing them, because really fine graffiti is something that you can miss. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I've been the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.